Alright, beginning chapter 9, give your attention up here. A couple of terms you need to be familiar with. A market, the term market, that's arrangements that people have made for trading with one another. So when we talk about the stock market, right, what is that? It's not a place, right? It's not a building. It's an arrangement that we have made for how we buy and sell stocks with each other. That's just one example of a market. Another term you need to know is the term industry. So an industry would be a group of businesses that do the following. They sell a similar product, sell to a certain group of customers, produce a product in a similar way. So as an example, the fast food industry. That's a group of businesses. McDonald's, Burger King, Taco Bell, Wendy's, Arby's, whatever. Those are businesses competing in the fast food industry. Why do we put them all in the same industry? Because they sell a similar product. Right? Finger food, sandwiches, whatever. They sell to a certain group of customers, hungry people that are in a hurry. Right? They produce their product in a similar way. They pay teenagers to forget to put the straw in the bag at the drive-thru window.
Oh my gosh, that makes me so mad.
I couldn't drink my drink till I got to school in the morning.
Save them.
Ugly Miss Susie, let me drink it.
Or the napkins.
That makes me so mad. You know how many times
'Cause
I
you
told
never
Page
do that before.
168 in your book, there's a chart on page 168 in your book we're going to refer to today and again tomorrow. Figure 9-1. It's the types of business competition continuum. You'll see it on page 168.
Wait. Can you hear that?
What's the
Anyone
last
get that
one?
down?
If you look
Product.
underneath
Produce products.
that
and
chart
similar.
on page 168, the bottom part of the chart, it lists 4 key differences between industries. Some industries have a fewer number of businesses competing against each other. Some industries have a large number of businesses competing against each other. So the more companies there are competing, the farther right on the continuum it is. The fewer companies, the farther left. Looking at those bullet points at the bottom of the chart on page 168. All right, the next one is the difference in the products they sell. Some businesses sell products that are very different from their competitors. Some businesses sell products that are very alike, just like their competitors. So the more the product is alike, the farther on the right of the continuum it will be. The more differences there are, the farther on the left. All right, the next bullet point is the control they have over the price. Some businesses have very little control over their price. The less control they have, the farther right that industry is. The more control over the price they have, the farther left it is. Again, looking at that figure 9-1 on page 168. Now, based on these 4 characteristics, economists have identified 4 major types of competition and placed them on a continuum. So going from left to right, it's monopoly, oligopoly, imperfect competition, and perfect competition. So basically what we're saying is all the businesses in a given industry are competing under one of these 4 types of competition. You name the industry, it's going to be on one of these 4 types of competition. We're gonna outline each one, starting on the far right. So what are we starting with?
That's why you're continue. Wait, do not.
Perfect competition.
Starting on with perfect competition. So based on figure 9-1 on page 168, tell me about the number of sellers.
There's a great number.
Yeah, gonna be a lot, right? A large number of sellers. I'll give an example at the end here. Based on figure 9-1 on page 168, tell me about the difference of the products.
Fewer differences.
Yep. They sell an undifferentiated product. There's a term that you need to know. Undifferentiated means they're all the same. Customers don't really care which of the businesses they buy from because the product they're buying is exactly identical to the competitor's product. Which means as customers, if there's no difference between company A's product and company B's product, what's the only thing we care about?
Price.
The price, right? So obviously, they have no control over the price. No individual business can control the price, again, because we don't care whose we buy. They're all the same. An example of an industry that would operate under perfect competition would be crop farmers. So let's just pretend that I own a factory and one of the ingredients for whatever the product I'm making is soybeans. Right, I buy tons and tons of soybeans, and let's pretend all of you are soybean farmers. You grow soybeans. I'm gonna buy tons of soybeans. Do I really care which of you farmers I buy it from?
No,
Why not?
because it's the same.
They're all the same. Soybeans are soybeans.
I mean, unless a farmer is really bad.
I mean, Aaron can try to convince me that his soybeans are better than Jacob's soybeans, but nice try, Aaron. Soybeans are soybeans, right? I don't care whose I buy. If I have to decide between all of you, whose soybeans am I buying?
The cheapest.
The cheapest ones. Alright, we call that, all of you are what we call price takers. You're not price setters, you're price takers. You have to take whatever the buyer's willing to pay, because if you are stubborn, let's say Aaron says, no, I worked too hard to grow these soybeans, I'm not letting mine go that cheap. Alright, well then he's gonna get stuck with the soybeans, isn't he? Because all the rest of you are gonna sell below him. Alright, so Jacob, he's gonna undercut Aaron's prices. Gage is gonna undercut Jacob's prices. Now what's Jacob have to do?
Undercut.
Now he's gotta lower his price too. Right, so you're all price takers. Because of that, it's very, very difficult to make a profit operating under perfect competition. So profit-minded entrepreneurs, business owners, usually don't go into business if the industry is operating under perfect competition. Simply too difficult to make a profit because products are all the same. Any questions on that one? Alright, moving a little bit more toward the left.
Imperfect.
Imperfect competition. Based on figure 9-1 on page 168, we're still on the right side of the continuum, so tell me about the number of businesses.
Great number.
Still pretty many, right? We'll just call it many. Alright, what about the difference of their products?
It's not that different.
Not that different, but they're not gonna be identical, right? There's gonna be some differentiation of their products. Again, we'll give an example at the end. Each company may have a little bit of control over the price of their product. How much control they have depends on their ability to differentiate their product and create in the mind of the buyers what we call brand loyalty. So it'll all make sense once I give you an example. Imperfect competition is by far the most prevalent form of competition in our economy. Most everything that we buy that's on our shopping list, we're buying from a company that operates under imperfect competition. Maybe not everything, but most things. It's by far the most prevalent form. So just as an example, let's talk about the shampoo industry. All right, the shampoo industry. I'd like to use that one for an example. Are there many sellers?
Yep.
Yeah. Name some.
Pantene.
Dale.
Suave.
We could go on and on, right? I mean, there's no
I
end.
can't think of any.
There is all kinds of shampoo companies.
Head and Shoulders.
Are they all the same? Do they all, can you just say shampoo is shampoo?
No,
Like soybeans are soybeans?
no.
No. I mean, there are some differences, right? Some shampoo are for
Don't
people
use
with
parabens and sulfates.
dry hair, oily hair, or color treated hair, or people with dandruff, or there's shampoo that smells like flowers, there's shampoo that smells like coconuts. I like that one, cause I like coconuts.
The conditioner that smells like coconut is the wave.
Coconut lime.
There's all kinds of shampoos.
That's the best thing.
Shampoo that's supposed to do this or that or whatever. So there is some differentiation, it's not all the same. Alright, do all bottles of shampoo cost the same? No.
No.
Some
Those are
companies
expensive.
try to charge a little bit more than their competitor. And they can do that if they can increase the differentiation. Right, because I like the smell of coconuts, I might be willing to pay a little bit more for a shampoo that smells like coconuts. That way I get hungry every time I wash my hair.
Hungry for some olive oil.
Like what?
Cause all shampoo's not the same, right?
It is not.
So because of that, because companies can get more control over their price, which means they get more profit, right? The more you can charge for your product, the more profit you can make. Because they can get some control over their price, they try to create brand loyalty. And they do that by a couple of different ways. They either by advertising, right? They target their potential customers and they run ads trying to get them to pay a little extra for their product instead of buying their competitor's product. And that's what the whole advertising industry is about, and we see those everywhere we turn, whether it's billboards or online ads in the margins, radio commercials, television commercials. Try to watch a YouTube video and there's an ad in there, right? There's all this advertising. And they're trying to get us to buy their product and get us to like their product and create a brand loyalty. Check your book. Look up the page. Oh, there it is, page 169. Where it says, what's in a name? If you read that, you know there's a lot in the name of a company or in the name of their product. as an example, let's use the company McDonald's. When you say McDonald's, everybody knows what you're talking about, right? When you say Big Mac, right, everybody knows what you're talking about. When you see the golden arches of the McDonald's store, you know exactly what that means. Okay, they have gotten a trademark on the name McDonald's. They've gotten a trademark on the name of their product, the Big Mac. They also have a trademark on that symbol, the golden arches. In other words, they own those things. They own the name, they own the symbol, and no other company can come along and open up a restaurant and call it McDonald's. They own that name. No other company can come along and sell a sandwich called a Big Mac, or make their sign a golden arch. Can't do that. McDonald's owns those names and symbols. If another company were to try to do that, McDonald's would sue them and win. And that's because McDonald's has spent a lot of time and a lot of money creating a brand loyalty. They don't want people coming along and profiting off their hard work. Somebody might think they're getting something from a real McDonald's and they're getting something from a counterfeit McDonald's. That's not what would be fair, right? So companies do that. They register, get a registered trademark of their company's name, their symbols, the names of their products. You'll notice on that page 169, there are some companies who have done such a good job of getting the name of their product out there that their name has almost become a generic term. For example, a Kleenex. Right? Kleenex is a brand of facial tissue. I think you knew that, right? And now it's so common, people will say, hey, do you have a Kleenex? And we know just what they mean, right? But I've never heard someone say, no, I don't. I have a Puffs, but I don't have a Kleenex. No, we don't do that. We know what they mean. It means facial tissue, right? It's almost synonymous with that. Sometimes in different parts of the country it's that way. Like where I grew up, we would call soft drinks, we would call it soda. I grew up in Pennsylvania. My wife grew up in Minnesota and they called it pop. And then when we were married, first married, we lived in Texas where they call everything Coke. Doesn't matter what the brand is, any soft drink was called a Coke.
So what'd you do for a Sprite?
Call it a lemon lime Coke, I guess. I don't know. Everything was Coke. So even if you wanted an orange soda, you'd say, I want an orange Coke. You know, like I'd say orange soda, my wife would say orange pop, Texas they say an orange Coke. So we were very confused whether we were talking to each other or anybody else in Texas because. But there's my point is the term Coke, even though that means a specific brand and flavor, they've done such a good job of getting their name to be known that it's almost generic in some parts of the country. Any questions? I don't know if you've noticed, but oftentimes